Hey, Spider Wayne here, and today I'm going to be reviewing this great little device. It's a dash cam, the F170 by Falcon Zero. This is what's inside. I've already taken it out. There's a thank you card from James from Falcon Zero. Nice guy. I've been in contact with him a few times. A user manual, another card here that tells you can download the GPS software from this Falcon Zero website. They give you a CD with the software on it, but I guess for the most current version, use the link. It comes with a 10-foot power cable, a data cable. This is for when you bring it inside your house and you want to download the images and video off of it. Here's the GPS. Works really great. Here's your connectors for all these cables when you put them in your car. If you need them, depends how you set it up. Here is a cigarette lighter adapter, which is really cool. It has 3 inputs. There are, let's see, 2 of these are 5 volt 2.1 amps, and the top one is 5 volt 2.4 amps. So you would put it in one of these 2 in the bottom, which is really cool because I myself bought 2 of these cameras, putting one in the front window and I'm putting one in the back window. So I'll be able to use 2 of these connectors. Okay. The suction cup mount for the window and the camera. And what's really cool, they give you a 64 gigabyte SD microcard. Okay, when I was searching for dash cams, some of them came with some cards, but I don't think I ever saw one that came with 64 gigabytes. So that's really cool that they do that for you. All right, so now let's get into the setup of the camera. Okay, on the top of your camera, you have your GPS, your suction mount, suction cup mount here, your USB connector or power connector, your microphone on the bottom, your HDMI out, and your SD card in. All right. Let's go ahead and plug this in. So when you're in the car, you'll always have that plugged in. Turn your ignition on, it starts up automatically. The little light starts blinking. That means it's recording. And that green light also means it's recording. Because this LCD screen will eventually turn off. When it does turn off, you'll know it's still recording because that green light is still blinking. You can wake the screen up anytime you like by pushing the top or bottom arrow buttons down. You got your modes here. You have to turn the video off to get to the mode. To stop the recording, just hit OK. Go into the mode button. That's your camera mode. And there's your video playback mode. Click it again, and you're back to normal. Okay, now for the menus. The first one is resolution. A lot of these you're probably just going to leave the way they are. So you got 1080p, 720p, WVGA, and VGA. I'm leaving mine on 1080. Loop recording 3 minutes and 5 minutes. I leave mine for 3 minutes. A quick explanation of loop recording basically is that, like, I have it set to every 3 minutes. So this will basically record in 3-minute blocks of video. So once it gets to the end of the space on the disc, it will go back to the beginning of the disc and bump off the first 3 minutes and then the next 3 minutes, and it'll keep recording over and over and over again. So the disc never actually, well, it fills up, but it never stops recording. Same thing with 5 minutes. And the reason you may want to use this is while you're filming, if something comes up, you can actually mark the disc and save that and protect it so that that particular file does not get erased. And if you have a whole, let's say, 3-hour clip, that's a lot of stuff to look through, whereas this way you could just look for that locked file. So that's loop recording. Moving on. HDR. I leave that on. It's on by default. Pictures and video are supposed to look better when it's on, so I just leave it on. Exposure. You can change your exposure settings if you like. Motion detection. For this one, you have to have constant power, and if your car is parked, then that's something you might want to turn on, and it will record based on motion just outside of your car. I leave it off because while you're driving, you don't want this on. It's not going to work right. So leave that off. Let's see. Record audio. That's off by default, but I like to have that on. I like to record audio. And then you got your date stamp. And what that is, that shows the date and time on your video that you're recording. Then you have gravity sensing, which is also called a G sensor. You have off, low sensitivity, medium sensitivity, and high sensitivity. Medium is probably a good place to be, unless you find a lot of your files are being locked, because that's what this does. If it detects impact, it will lock a file that is recording at the time, so that you don't accidentally erase that file later. So if you find a lot of files are locked, then maybe it's too sensitive to your car, change it, move it down to low. You should have a couple that are locked every once in a while. That's a good place to be. But if you find none of them are being locked and you're hitting bumps and stuff, then you may want to change it to high. But I'm leaving it on medium because that works good for me. GPS, I don't have GPS plugged in, but it's on by default. You can turn it off if you don't want the record of, say, for the police to see how fast you were going. If it records GPS, it's going to record your speed, it's going to record the direction you're going, and all that good stuff. I leave mine on because I have nothing to hide. Plate number. This is where you put your license plate number in. I don't want to put mine in right at the moment. It'll take too long. I'll put it in later. Parking monitor. By default, it's off. I turn mine on. I think what it does is it records for a few seconds. If there's an impact while you're away, it'll turn back on and do a quick record. Speed unit, kilometers and miles per hour. I leave mine on miles per hour. And then we're back to resolution. So let's get out of this. So I'll hit menu a couple times. So now to get into the second menu, you're going to click menu twice. Okay, auto power off. It has settings for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and 10 minutes, or off. When the unit is not hooked up to any power supply and is not being used, the unit will power down automatically. If set to off, it will remain on until the internal battery is out of power. Beep sounds. I hate the beep, so I'm going to turn the beep off. It's on by default, and I just turn it off. Language and frequency, basically just leave frequency at 60 Hertz for the US. Night vision. It's off by default, and you want to leave that off. The only time you want to turn that on is if you're recording inside the car, like you and a passenger. And I have a video, a demo that I'm going to show you right after this, so you can see how this works. You'll see how this works later in the video. I'm going to leave it off. Auto update time. The manual says this is where you set the GMT, and it is crucial that you correctly set it if you're planning on using the GPS function. It helps calibrate signals coming from the GPS satellites and helps the signal pick up faster. I noticed that when I did not have it set right, that the time on my dash cam would always be off. And once I got it set right, the clock would hold that time correctly. So make sure you do set this. Formatting is pretty self-explanatory. It will wipe out the disk. Then you got your screensaver, and with the screensaver you can set the duration for the display to automatically turn off after a recording starts. Delayed shutdown. This one I really like, and I have mine set to 10 seconds. The reason being, maybe I should go 30, but the reason I have it on at all is if I get out of the car and I'm walking through, say, a garage or something, and somebody comes up and hits me on the head from behind, I will have it on video. Hopefully I will live through it, though. And then you have your default settings, your version, and then you're back to normal. So now we're going to move on and take a look at some other things that this camera can do. Okay, so we're going to check out the night vision now on this camera. And as you can see, it works pretty well, except this isn't totally dark. The dash lights are on, so that would be normal driving conditions. So the night vision is basically you turn it around so that you can film the inside of the car while you're driving, and I guess maybe the person sitting next to you. So it does have night vision, kind of like what a ghost camera might have, but you know, don't expect to find any ghosts in your car. This might not have been such a good idea. Okay, so this camera also acts as a webcam. So it's not a great webcam, it's not intended to be a webcam, but you can use it as a webcam. So what you'd want to do is connect it. It'll come up with directions in the back that you can either connect as mass storage or a PC camera. So obviously you would pick PC camera. So I'm going to bring up FaceTime. I'm going to switch cameras because right now it's using the camera on the computer, on my iMac. Now it's going to switch over to this camera. So it just did. The picture will always freeze up. It does it every time, at least with me, with my camera. And then once it unfreezes, I'm going to call somebody. So let's see how this works. Hey.
Hello.
How you doing? How's your day?
Good. What?
How's your day going?
It's going good. Oh my gosh, I can't decide if I want to buy this.
Okay,
camera.
great. Thanks for helping. So as you can see, the camera works great. She was able to see me. We were able to communicate. Now let's move on to a couple other things that this camera does. Okay, this camera is also designed to be used as a actual photo camera. So if you get out, you're driving around and you get in an accident and you need to take a quick picture, you can't find your cell phone or you didn't bring it with you, all you got to do is take this out, switch modes to camera, and then take a picture. So smile. There, got your picture. This is just me driving around earlier today, and I'm going to show you what it looks like on the Dashcam Viewer software next. But this is the file. If all you wanted was a video file, here you go. Looks great. Looks awesome. So let me get rid of that, and let's go over to my other desktop, and let's take a look at the Dashcam Viewer. Now this is the software that you could either download or install from that CD. I would still suggest that you download the newest version. But once you have it open, drag a file onto it. It opens up.
Figure it out.
There's sound. I'm going to mute it again just to make sure that you can hear me. And again, same picture. If you wanted, you could just take this file and export it out. There's all kinds of things that you can do with this. Over here on the right, I'm going to change this to terrain. That's the standard map. I normally like hybrid, so I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to zoom it in a lot. And now you can see the road that I'm on, Willow Pass Road, driving down. And then below that, you can see the speed that I'm going, the direction I'm going. And in the window down below that, there's a graph. Shows the speed, distance, bearing. All this is good information for, say, example, you got into a car accident and the other person was saying it was your fault. And let's say you weren't speeding, then you could record this. You could take this file in and show it to them. Show them the speed, distance, direction you were going, and what happened. And this could really help you out in court. So this is some good information right here. So you get a lot for your money with Falcon Zero. So we're in the car. I'm going to show you my install real quick. There's a couple of ways that you could install it, but first I want to show you really quick what it does when you put your key in the ignition. It will start automatically with the car, and that screen will actually turn off somewhat around 30-40 seconds. I forget what the time is that I have it set to, but you can see right here that red dot blinking means that it's already recording. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but the green dot means that it's recording, and that's what you'll look at when the screen goes off. You'll know it's still recording because that light's blinking. Or you can push these buttons up and down to bring the screen back on. And that red light means that it's charging, and once it's fully charged, that light will go out. One more thing I wanted to show you is you can zoom in with this camera. You can zoom in, zoom back out, and if say you get pulled over or something and you want to film the cop, you can turn this camera like that, and now you're filming all around here. Can you see that squirrel? Hey, look, it's Mr. Squirrel. Okay, so I'm going to turn the car off. The camera will go off in a little bit. So what I did was I have these cables stuffed in the headliner. In my car, you just put your fingers up here, pull down, and tuck the wires into the headliner, and it's really easy. You just tuck them and pull them across. So I have the USB in the camera going into the headliner all the way across. There's the GPS antenna, by the way, which that is just stuck there, and cables ran back to the camera, and that's it. But the USB cable for power is going all the way across and then going down that panel there, and I'm able to go all the way down and behind the glove box. And when I got around here, I wound up using this great big wire tie that I got from Home Depot. So they're cheap. You can find them at Home Depot. They sell like 2 or 3 or maybe even one individually. I've had this forever, but I know they have them. So you should pick one of these up if you're going to do an install like I did. And I used some electrical tape to tape one end of it to the wire tie, and then the other end I stuffed through the center console here all the way to this panel, which I need to shine a little light here for you. And you can see right here, this is the cigarette lighter. I drilled a hole in that little box there so I could plug this in. Now, you don't have to do that. You could simply just plug into the camera and bring the cable down and go straight into your cigarette lighter. Or you could do what I did, drag the cables all the way across and go down and behind the glove box. And if you have a cigarette lighter in your center console like I do down here, you could just plug it in right here and call it a day and be done with it. So anyways, what I'm going to give away is this $100 Amazon gift card.
Mine.
Okay. It's not his, but
if you don't want it to be mine, what you need to
Spider Wayne at the Santa Maria Inn.
And he's getting freaking